don't come here and leave, come and showcase our publications and leave. We want to leave copies for faculty, for students, for libraries. So we have 20 copies of the State of Ghanaian Economy Report, 20 copies of the State of Social Development, the Ghana Social Development Council, as well as past copies of some of our publications that we are leaving with management, staff, and students. So, on behalf of management of ISSER, I present to you the Ghana Social Development Outlook 2020. And as I said, we have 20 copies. We're also leaving 20 copies of the State of Ghanaian Economy Report 2020, the 30th edition of the report, with you. And then we have other past publications that will leave. So you stop your library, let your students read and be well informed about the economy, about social issues. Thank you very much.
Interlude, this time around a cultural display, once again from the School of Creative Arts. Let's give it up for them. Let's give it up for them. much. Thank you so much. Let's give it up for them one more time. And that's the School of Creative Arts, precisely the Department of Theatre Arts. And this dance was choreographed by senior lecturer in that department, Dr. Latifa Osei, who is also here. Let's give it up for Dr. Latifa Osei. Before the chairman's closing remarks, I would like to acknowledge the presence of these people. We have the Assistant Divisional Officer, Grade 2 of the Fire Service Department, Justice Kofi Besibro. He's here. Please, let's give it up for Justice Kofi. We also have Assistant Divisional Officer, Grade 2, Ales Queno, also here with us. We have Assistant Divisional Officer Grade 2, Ruby Akom Mensa with us. And we have Group Officer Grade 2, Janet Ejay, also with us. And they are all from the Ghana National Fire Service. Ladies and gentlemen, at this point, we once again call on our chairperson, the Pro Vice Chancellor of the University of Education, Professor Andy Ofo-Ibrinkai, to give us his closing remarks. A round of applause for him.
Thank you very much, Mr. Bismarck Odum. Ladies and gentlemen, all protocols observed. I'm not going to do the usual closing remarks that is done in this part of the world where the chairman has to summarize everything that has been said. Where I was trained, it's not like that. Normally, the chairman will come and say, if there are no questions, then it's over. But I just want to say a few things. First and foremost, that the excitement that has greeted this forum is something that I never imagined going to have it that way. This is the first time we have a forum and the room is packed, even without the display by the theater arts. I was trying to look through to see whether people are dozing, and nobody is dozing. And I'm listening. I think it's because everything affects our pocket, whatever you came to present. So it shows the interest which people have come to listen to the presentation, and we need to applaud ourselves for listening to them with rapt attention. Of course, we all agree that ISSER over the years has become one of the most credible institutions when it comes to economic and social outlook. And year upon year, researchers cite them to support whatever research that they are doing. And before we came in, I was having a conversation with Professor Korte and talking about how they date back by 32 years ago and what has led to that level of authenticity and credibility. And that's when he was telling me that within ISSER, no individual goes out to make a statement on economic outlook of the country or anywhere without other members knowing, so that you may have your position, but it's teamwork that drives them. You don't go out and make statements. But if you take them compared to the think tanks, where one person is a think tank, the person goes out there and makes statements. And so it means that if academics come together, we can be a reputable force to reckon with. And that's one lesson that I think we should all derive from here, learn from here, especially our colleagues who are partnering ISSER to produce this forum. It means that we need to work as a team. And he also indicated that it's peer review, internal peer review, that does that. When they were presenting, you could see the list of people who had contributed. And I don't think anybody has been marginalized in that aspect. So it is something that we need to learn. Now, a few worrying trends came out of your report. The idea that 66.2% of our population on vulnerable employment. I think that's worrying. The fact that if you have people who are employed and anytime they can lose their job and they are not sure. 66.2. I think that's something we need to be worried about. And the unemployment rate is way too high, 32.8. So when you are driving to Accra and those boys come and start wiping your windscreen, asking for money. Please give the money to them. Because if you don't give them the 20 pesos and they drive there, they will come and hijack you on the highway. So I say, you take the 20 pesos and stay here so that I can go home safely. And it's part of the unemployment issue. If they are working, they will not be there. So it's something that I call that practical wisdom. I say, you take the 20 pesos and stay here. Even if the Abaye people are coming, please hide and come back. Because if you don't give to them, they will catch you up on the highway with guns and take everything else. So we need to be worried about that percentage, and as a country, we need to find out what we have to do. But your presentations, again, I was expecting to hear 1D, 1F. So all the noise about 1D, is it captured anywhere in the presentation? They have made a lot of noise, so I thought you also made some noise. But I didn't hear any noise, so I was worried. So what's happening? How has that improved the economy, the way it has been presented to us over the years? Then, another question that I have for Professor Dubia Owusu, all the recommendations, how are they different from previous ones? Because it seems to me that the recommendations are the same. For example, she said, I don't know whether it's called, manufacturing is key and requires support. I thought we have been hearing this over the years. And every year we come to say manufacturing is the key. Now, what is it like? And I was expecting that maybe we can have a comparative analysis of previous years versus current year. Otherwise, if the recommendation says manufacturing, in fact, when I was in Form 5, the same recommendations were given. So many years, manufacturing is the key. It requires support. It seems as if we have not made any progress. So I was hoping to see some kind of maybe data to show what progress we have made and what kind of support that we believe that we should have. So, I can say that, this has been a very fantastic forum. We are grateful to our partners from the University of Ghana who have joined us to make this a credible and awesome forum. Now, before I leave, Professor S. Eduardo, in his contribution, talk about responsible and irresponsible journalism. And of course, even though he knows very well that I'm not the one who presented, he was trying to direct the question to me for me to respond because I'm in media studies. Yeah, I think that they captured the issue in a very wholesome manner. Now, if you have 40% of your media landscape controlled by politicians, if 40% of the people in this room decide to make noise and the 60% keep quiet, can we have any sanity here? We can't. So, a lot of the irresponsible journalism emanates from the media houses that have recruited people who have no sense, no idea about how journalism is practiced. So year in, year out, journalism institutions and schools are putting in programs to train these people. But because we ourselves are the patrons, are the supporters, are the agents of irresponsible journalism, they are motivated to go on. Because somebody with just a phone says in Winneba or any village or any city and say that I'm a journalist. And then they call the person gives a report on something that has happened and he's paid money. Sometimes we ourselves, we are supported because we pay people, journalists, money to even run down other people. And so what the National Media Commission, I was a member of the National Media Commission from 2018 to 2021, has always been talking about is some kind of training that would allow journalists to have some idea of what professionalism is. Because journalism is one institution where there's no license. In fact, nowhere in the world do you need a license to practice journalism. But if you have some training, it will help you. But it doesn't work. In fact, when I was a member of National, there were some ideas, some people were pushing the idea for some kind of licensing and sanctions to come against journalists who practice that kind of irresponsible journalism. But the point is that the Constitution doesn't allow that. The Constitution allows people to practice freedom of speech, and the press. So we can't sanction them in any way. So what we stress on, as Professor Korte said, is training, workshop, and other retreats that will seek to enhance their professional tendencies. Now, the point is that even when you do this, at the end of the day, if the politicians come behind them and support them to do whatever they want, because the politician doesn't want to obey the rule of law, they run over the rule of law, they do whatever they want. So unless we are able, and again, the National Media Commission was trying to bring out some kind of recommendation that will indicate that if you are a politician, you should not be allowed to own any media house. Again, that seems to be some wild idea that people did not support. But I think the only way out for us is to ask journalism and training institutions to find some means of training more of the journalists, giving them some kind of workshop, retreats that will enhance their skills. And that one, I know that even our school here, we are trying to have some kind of certificate courses in journalism and journalism training for journalists who are, especially in most of the rural radio stations and FM stations that are doing whatever they want. But our problem is mainly those journalists in the cities, because they are closer to the big men and women, and they are the people who always want to do things afoul of the law and then get free. So I think the responsibility rests on all of us. I have been a victim of irresponsible journalism. Somebody just takes information and goes to put it online, broadcast it without talking to me, without talking to anybody, in a very negative manner. And what do you do? Because the person is pushed by people who should know better. So I think it's also our collective responsibility to ensure that we don't become motivators and patrons of irresponsible journalism. But nevertheless, we'll do our part to ensure what we can do to bring sanity to the journalism front. On that note, I want to say thank you and for joining us here. I know somebody has to do a vote of thanks, but as chair, I also have to do my own. Especially Nenyi, Professor Korte, Professor Asabia Owusu, our professors who are here, who have been here. On behalf of the Vice Chancellor, I want to express our gratitude for giving us this unique opportunity to be part of this roadshow. Let's see whether the next time there's a roadshow, it's UW who will lead it and not Legon. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Oh, just before I go, sorry. I also, on behalf of management and our university, want to express our gratitude for the reports that were given to us. I think that our faculty will look at this as an initiative and initiate something on their own. Now, we will not allow them to all the time come and teach us. We want to also start our own so that we also go and teach them. They have been around for so many years. We have been around for only 60 years, but I think we have grown enough wings to fly. And so fly and go there and bring them here and teach them some lessons. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. To do the vote of thanks, we want to call Dr. Martha Awo, the head social division of ISSER. Round of applause.
Thank you very much. Mr. Chairman, the Omahene of Efutu Traditional Council, Ninye Gate the 7th, the Municipal Chief Executive, Honorable Alhaji Zubeiru Kasim, the Director of ISSER, and all protocol observed. I'm highly honored to deliver the vote of thanks on this special occasion. First of all, I would like to thank the Almighty God for his guidance from the beginning through planning to a very successful end. I would like to express our profound gratitude to Mr. Chairman, the Pro-Vice Chancellor of University of Education, Winneba, Professor Andy Ofori Birikuran, who has not only chaired this function to a brilliant end, but approved our coming, has hosted us. Can we please give him a standing ovation?